a very pleasant good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to Cajon Speedway. I'm your track announcer, Tom McGrath. I'll be calling the action for you tonight on the fastest 3/8 mile paved oval on the West Coast. All right, let's go racing in El Cajon. We got the street stocks on the line ready to go in the four-car shootout, the always competitive street stock division, and we got four great drivers in the four-car trophy dash tonight. Let's make some noise for these guys as we introduce them. Starting on the pole in the Pick Your Part, Prepared Plumbing, and also sponsored by Tips Racing, I'm told, tonight. Although John may not be in the dash officially, his motor is under the hood of the 212 car. How about it for Jimmy Villa? And sponsored by the Kroger Family Properties himself, I guess. The guy on the outside of row number one in the discount radiator, Buick. Many of you don't recognize him who see him outside of the car without the helmet on, without the great beard, flowing beard that he used to have for years and years. Mark Kroger in the 233 car. Had to get rid of that beard because it was a fire hazard, he was told by the officials. Starting on the inside of row number two in the second quick time spot. And the Stong Building Materials, Robeson Masonry sponsored Tell Data 289 Buick. He's your points leader starting tonight's racing action. Mike Carver, the 289 car, the two-time street stock champ. And sitting on the door of his 294 car, the world-class paint and body ASAP printing machine, a guy that tows down from Simi Valley. And tell them folks where Simi Valley is, Dusty.
In Ventura County, 3 hours away.
3 hours away. That is a long way to come tow to race for you folks here at Cajon Speedway. How about a big Cajon Speedway welcome for the driver of the 294 car, sits in the quick time spot, Dusty McDonald. You gotta admire that dedication to tow that far to come racing roundy round with us here at Cajon Speedway. We're glad they're here. And in the alternate spot, what's happening here? The 257 Tips Racing, the Performance Automotive Action Instruments Chevrolet, the five-time street stock champ, car 257, the animal, John Tips. Don't count the Tips guys out yet, folks, I'll tell you. Still some season left. Okay, guys, as soon as you're strapped in, the helmet cinched down, light them up. Let's go racing. Mike Carver, the 289 car, out-qualified tonight by Dusty McDonald. From Simi Valley, Mark Kroger in the 233, and a very hard guy to pass. He's got the widest Chevelle out here at Cajon Speedway, Jimmy Villa in the 212 car. Dennis Vowles with the green rag in hand, ready to turn him loose. Green is out. We're racing. Good start by the quartet. They go into turn number one. And the Chevrolet of Villa, half a car length, coming off of turn number two. Mark Kroger working on the outside in the 233 car on lap number one. The 289 car of Carver trying to loosen up Villa. Gets a little loose all by himself. Mike Carver can't take advantage of it. And Kroger, half a car length again, coming off of turn number two on lap number two. Mark Kroger working the 233. Buick Regal on the outside. Jimmy Villa can't let the car go out and get the momentum coming off the corner. Kroger driving a smart race now as he's got the lead coming off of turn number two on lap number three. They'll see the white flag this time around. And now the 289 car of Mike Carver going to the high side. White flag is out, and the black Buick Regals now 1 and 2 going into turn number one. But Carver going to run out of real estate now to catch Mark Kroger in the 233 car. The 15-year veteran, you ain't going to pass him with a half a lap to go. Checker flag is out. Kroger in front of Carver, McDonald, and Jimmy Villa. Mark Kroger going to get the groceries tonight. Our first street stock heat ready to roll out. I did want to mention also for the John Tips crew, car 257, the animal picking up a new sponsor tonight in the Omelet Factory. And the Tips crew all decked out in Omelet Factory polo shirts tonight, and want to thank them for coming on board Tips Racing and helping their efforts in 1998. And let me tell you, I've been to the Omelet Factory a number of times thanks to some of these racers that have given us some discount tickets to go there, and some free breakfasts, and a great place for breakfast not only on the weekends but any day of the week when they're open there at the Omelet Factory. Stop by and check them out. Andy Uphoff and Matt Arnold on the front row lead them into turn number 1 on the first heat race tonight. 8 laps. Well, wadding up some street stocks down here at the start-finish line. That one really that didn't sound good. Lots of sheet metal and fiberglass being ripped up down here on the east side straightaway. Bumpers on the ground and wadded up race cars of the 287 car of Richard Hines. Looks like, is that the 218 car of Scott Moses? Yep. And the 245 in the infield, Andy Uphoff. So, and parts and pieces all over the place. Mikey Lurwell pulling off the racing surface. Well, he's staying on the racing surface. He looks to be okay, as is Chuck Van Buren and Jeff Wright, Doug Catania. And the 287 car of Richard Hines now, well, looks like he's staying out there. So we may have only lost 2. And Uphoff, who's nursing a flat right front back to the pits. And Scott Moses is going to have to go up on the end of the Fletcher Hills tow truck. All right, ready to get back underway. 5 down with Matt Arnold out in front. Matt Arnold grabs the win with Chuck Van Buren hanging on for a second spot. Doug Catania's 222 car finishing third. Here's your fast street stock heat. Ron Trammell rolls out first in the 247 car. Danny Gay's 201 car. Jimmy Villa in the 212. There's John Arndt's 261. The Animal in the 257 and the 289 of Carver. 233 of the Trophy Dash winner Kroger. Fast qualifier Dusty McDonald. Rob Freeman just taking a few test laps in car 291. Here we go. Green flag waving. To the line, Carver! Mike Carver at the line by about a foot over Danny Gay. Carver started on the inside of the last row and picked up the win. Danny Gay second. Mark Kroger's 233 car finishing third. Then Bob Mighty Meese in the 255, Rob Freeman's 291 car, Bill Sanchez in the 223, and Don Lindbergh's 239 car. 6 cars, 10 laps, and 2 transfers. Well, due to the accidents in that first heat, we're going to have 5 transfers going from this street stock semi. I wonder who they're going to be. Attention, Frank Luna. Frank Luna, report to the track office. Frank Luna, report to the track office behind the east side grandstands. And in the east side parking lot, we've got a green Explorer 3CJM992. Your lights are on. A green Explorer 3CJM992. Lights are on. Yeah, you just can't be too sure about that 5th transfer spot. Doc Harrison going high, wide, and handsome into turn number 3 up against the crash wall. Driver's side first. That's not a good deal. And attention, Linda Sherman, report to the press box. Linda Sherman, report to the press box. And while we attend to Doc Harrison's needs, we'll again inform you of any problems. Hopefully it's just damage to the race car, not the driver. Well, not taking too long for the action to find its first yellow flag as the 299 car and the 224 tangle down the west side straightaway. The Mad Dog Mikey Allure, well, he's crawling out. Here he appears to be okay, as is Jeff Wright in the 299 car, but he is missing more body parts that he didn't have. Matt Arnold, the early leader, and Matt, as we said, in the 6th spot in the standings. Mike Carver getting a door peeled off in that incident down the West Side straightaway. He is shown on the board in the 5th spot behind Richard Hines' 287 car. And oh, the Mad Dog getting a double-ended lift from our Fletcher Hills tow truck guys. And if they wanted to, they could create the first stretch Lemo Seville. White flag coming out this time around. Mark Kroger on his way to a double victory night, picking up the dash, and now the main event. Kroger grabbing main event victory number 2 along the trophy dash tonight. Doug Catania in the second spot on the 222 car. Jimmy Villa close behind in third in car 212. The 289 car. Mike Carver having to fight his way through a lot of traffic, getting hung up by behind a couple of guys for a long time during the course of that race. But despite that, the points leader comes back to finish fourth. And since the 257 car never made it back to the racing surface after that first or second lap incident, Carver's, despite the fourth place finish, will increase his lead over John Tips.